Expedition 33, one of the pieces of side content you'll find yourself engaging with is, of course, the collection of the expedition journals. There really is something quite poignant about listening to the final thoughts of the previous expeditioners as they were about to fail in the one task that they had to do.
Expedition 46, Annalie. Brigitte finally succumbed to her infection. She fought off that blasted
Expedition 51.
Man, I can barely think straight.
Expedition 66, Marcel.
69th Expedition.
Damn you, SK, you stupid mushrooms.
Charlotte, 70. We finally installed the last set of grapple points, with only days to spare. And for the first time, I feel real hope.
Swept up in strange emotions. It both feels like us, but also not like us.
The Paintress sent a storm to overcome us. But it is we who have overcome the storm.
The ignorance of the gravity of the situation that can be heard in the voice of Yasmin of Expedition 84.
My favourite theory is that she's some crazy demonic maths teacher. And this is our punishment for failing at numbers. A load of superstitious hysteria. But at least we're here now.
All the way down to the resignation that can be heard in the voice of Law of Expedition 37.
Should I feel guilty for enjoying what's left of my life? Should I feel guilty for abandoning the others when the expedition was so clearly doomed? Apparently getting slaughtered by Nevrons or this white-haired man is an appealing future for them all.
Expedition journals, similar to random documents and audio logs in other games, serve as collectibles that help flesh out the world and history of the continent and Lumiere in Expedition 33. But the thing that makes them so compelling is that they collectively tell the entire history of the 67 years leading up to the events of the current expedition. Because beyond them just documenting the obvious final moments before the expedition perished, they also document other silly things, like Marcel of Expedition 66 getting high on mushrooms and then dying at the hands of SKA, and his immortal friend.
Damn you, SK, and your stupid mushrooms. Your friend ate them with no problem, but it also seems your friend was immortal. Oh, stop crying. You're not the one about to die.
Or somber, poignant messages like those of Constantine of Expedition 54, when he reminisces on the doomed nature of everybody born into this world, as well as the politicking surrounding the expeditions.
Before we can speak, before we even understand what it is that we're born into, we're bound. Lumiere operates a certain way. Push too hard to change things, and you just might end up on the next expedition.
But the second thing that the journals do really well is that they drive home the fact that everything that's happening currently in the world that they live in has been built on the backs of those that have come before. There's spelunking equipment on cliff faces all over the continent because Expedition 70 tirelessly spent their final years setting those up for the expeditions that will come after them. The hundreds, if not thousands of bodies of previous expeditioners scattered across the forgotten battlefield as they gave their lives to kill the terrifying Nevron in the area so you wouldn't have to. Unless the Nevron they were referring to was actually Dualiste. I don't know, I was never entirely sure if that was the case. If that was the case, then a lot of skill issue on that battlefield. Anyway, Expedition 67 setting off explosives all throughout Serene's temple, making it easier for the 33rd to reach her, even though the 67 would die in the process. The giant axon that was carrying a city on its back that was slain in Old Lumiere by... who did that anyway? It really does drive home the idea that Expedition 33 didn't necessarily reach the end of their journey because they're particularly special, but the fact that they're working off of the work of those that laid the bridge for them to be able to reach the monolith in the end. And so I continue to spend the rest of my playthrough collecting the rest of the journals to see how all the stories of the previous expeditions ended. I am kind of bothered by the fact that I have no clue where the hell Expedition 60's journal is. I've looped the monolith like 5 times. The journal just isn't there. And you're absolutely certain you checked the entire thing, top to bottom. You didn't miss anything. You know, if you don't want to believe me, you can just go yourself. What if, okay, suspension of disbelief for a second. What if their journal is in the middle of the ocean? Because think about it, SK recently gained the ability to dive. And what we know of Expedition 60 is that they're a bunch of naked weirdos who swim around the world from that conversation we had at the Gestural Beach. Exactly. Hey, what is up, viewer? This is Alison Does Games coming at you from post-production because, you know, funny story, you're going to laugh when you hear this. This particular scene, okay, when I was recording it on OBS, I kind of cropped out the subtitles, okay? And because of that, the dialogue is gone. But basically, this part, they were talking about the fact that, like, Expedition 60 were the only ones that finished this particular gestural challenge at this beach. And the fact that they're, like, naked and they're, like, swimming all over the world and stuff. And anyway, that's what my characters are, like, referring to in the scene, and I just felt I should explain that and apologize. I'm very, very sorry. So you're suggesting that it's on the continent? We don't have any other ideas. I mean, for all we know, they actually made it back to Lumiere. What you're suggesting is that Expedition 60 made it to the monolith, okay, learned the secrets of this entire conspiracy, decided to swim all the way back to Lumiere to warn everybody, but before they could get there, they got gommaged and their journal got lost in the oceans around the city. Is that what you're trying to say to me?